How's it going, YouTubers? Cornwall here. Thank you for joining for another video today. And today we've got something a little bit different. We've got an upgrade to my wheel set. So I've recently decided to go for a load cell as opposed to one of these little grommet things. So this sits on a little bracket behind your brake pedal. On most brake pedals, I think, I'm not familiar with all of them, but most of them will have something like this. Your pedal presses it, and then it this gives it X amount of resistance. And you can get different ones of these style grommets, some that are softer, some that are harder, and you can move it around on your pedal, especially on the T3PA Pro pedals that I've got. But it was also on the other pedals as well. I don't think it's with the stock pedals. I think that's more of a spring, but you can mod it. But definitely on these and the T3PA pedals and other ones as well. I think some of the Logitech ones. And basically this just acts as a stop, so you know when you've got to a limit and you can roughly alter it. So what I've done is I've gone to a load cell setup, which I'll show you shortly. So the load cell that I've got is from Sim Racing Solutions, and it's £99 plus delivery. It is the cheapest one that I've found, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some of them are £200 plus, which isn't great, let's be fair. But it obviously depends on how much you want to buy. So I just thought, you know what, I'll take a punt. I contacted the guy, and we've also worked out a discount code, which I'll tell you about later on in the video. So it's kind of a sponsored video, but kind of not, because I've still paid for the load cell myself, but just kind of helping him out, and he's helped me out on different things. And it's different, the mod. So I'm going to show you how to install it shortly, which will come up next. And then I'll just go on to about how it's helped me with my driving. So the first thing that I just need to say is it is different. It is a lot different to what you're used to. So this would be my pre-warning, and I'll go on to it later on when I tell you about how I've been racing with it and different things. But the pedal hardly moves. So at the minute, with this kind of mechanical mod, is you've got the resistance of the pedal. This will be set up to a certain distance, and then what will happen is it will press. So your pedal will press, hit this, and then you get a bit more resistance, and then off you go. Whereas with the load cell, your pedal's literally like this. And I even contacted the guy at Sim Racing Solutions just to say, have I set this up right? Because it's like there. It might move a mil, if that, and then it's on this really small grommet, which you'll see on the video, and it presses on that. But what it is it's the electronics behind it. So when you're pressing that, it's sending signals to the pedal and then to the game to say how much you're pressing it and different things. And all I can say at the minute is so far so good. Don't want to spoil things for the rest of the video, so I'm just going to take you to how I set that up, what I've done, and then we'll go on to towards the end of the video just to tell you if it's improved my lap times, what I think to it, and if you guys should get one if you've got pedals that will fit it. Yeah, let's get straight to the fitting. Okay, so this is the brake mod that's come from Sim Racing Solutions. So thank you very much to those guys that have hooked me up with this. I have paid for it, so you know, full disclosure and different things. And there is going to be a discount code in the bottom of the video, and I'll tell you at the end of the video, but in the description there's just a discount code there for you guys as well if you do want to pick this up. So this is what you get in the bundle. You get the washer and bolts and things to connect it to. You get the actual mod itself. Then you get a cable as well. So what is different to this compared to the other load cells mods that I've seen is that you don't get this on the back. If I put it in camera, you don't get this, which is the connector basically. And what I've seen on a lot of the other videos, and to be fair, they're more expensive as well, is you have to manually cut cables, snip things, and it's messy. I don't like the sound of that, because if you mess something up and you're not used to that kind of thing, you could write off your pedals almost, so you're going to have to buy more things to fix what you've broken and whatnot. So this has actually got this unit on the back here, and what happens is obviously I'll put it together, but a cable goes in here, which basically this then kind of acts as a bit of a filter between the load cell and what goes straight into the base. Dead easy to set up from the video that the guys have done. I am going to show you how I'm going to do it, but they have got their own video on showing you exactly what you need to do. So let me grab my pedals. This is the load cell bit here. This is where you're going to press the brake just there, and then it's going to sit something like that. There we go. Doing it too high. Just something like that on the back of the pedals, and it already uses the the current fixing for the conical mod. So let's grab the pedals. I'll get them up on the desk, move the camera around a little bit because they're a bit of a unit, and we'll get to it and show you how quick and easy it is to do. So back in a minute. Okay, so this is the lovely T3PA Pro pedals. So what we're going to do is there's 2 screws just here, which is where the current mod sits. I'm going to take that out, attach it to this, and then go from there. So I'm going to speed it up and do some funky stuff just so you're not watching it all. I use a normal screwdriver with a slightly different head on it, just because it's easier to get the leverage on it. So we're just going to undo this. So this is your standard conical mod. This is what comes with it. You can get different ones. I have tried different ones, but I just couldn't get on with them. So this is the standard one. There's a little nut at the back. Just make sure you take that nut off. And then you just want to unscrew the mod out. And basically this rubber just acts as a stopping point. So that's that. So that's the old mod out. And we're going to use this bracket to attach the conical mod to it. Something like that, I think. And I'm just going to quickly check the video myself from theirs, just so I can show you guys exactly what to do, but I'll put a link to their video that they've done just so I get it right. So I'm just going to check their video, because you have to put these washers and different things in the right order, and I need to make sure I'm putting it on the pedals properly. So again, we'll speed it up and we'll get this fitted. Okay, so just checking the video, we need to put the plastic one in first, and then we put this on top. So the plastic, this on top, then the washer, and then we screw this in. He says confidently. So it does need to be pretty tight in here, so I've just nipped away and just done that with a pair of pliers there, just to make sure it's central and that it's in as well. So quick word of warning, I was following the video, set it up perfectly, but it wasn't for the F1 style of pedals. So you have to make sure you've got your bracket the right way round, because it is inverted if you like, and then you have to invert this bit as well, so this bit's actually sticking down. The way I'd done it was this way was facing up, which is like what it says on the video, which meant that it sat in there something like that and be above the pedals. So then what we need to do is we just need to navigate around the back, and then we will attach that to there. But first we just need to do the cable, so I'm just going to have a quick sneak peek just to see where that goes and how far down this needs to be attached. Got that wedged in there, I'll leave that there for now. And then we'll just do the cabling, tidy it up, add it on, and we'll be good to go. So yeah, see you in a sec. So the next thing we need to do is tidy up these cables. So what I've done is I've offered enough cable length just to about there, and I can always tug it through anyway. I tend to use these Velcro strips that my wife got me, so they're quite cool. You loop it round and then just stick it to it. They're quite good, you get them off Amazon and whatnot. They're just better than cable ties in case you need to undo anything. So what you'll see on here, which side it is, because the cable that you get with the pedals is like a traditional RJ11 cable. The one that you get with every Thrustmaster one is an offset one, which is a pain if you ever rip it out, like I accidentally did once. So it's going to go on the left, so I just need to make sure there's enough to get round there-ish. So then I'm just going to tidy up these cables, tuck it in behind the base itself, and then get the other cable out, which would then go from here into the wheelbase. Okay, so then what we need to do, take your cable, and then there's one with the central tab, so we need to find out which one the central tab is. We know which one the offset one is anyway, so that's the offset one. So this one needs to go through the pedals as well, so just chuck that through there. Mind your fingers. This is going to stay loose to an extent because of it going to the pedal base, and because of the setup I've got, it needs to be fairly loose. So we're just going to plug this in here, nice little click, plug this one in here as well, and get it the right way around. That's in. And then we're going to fix this to the pedals. Pulling any spare cables out of the way, because that is going to be pretty important for this, because the last thing you want is a pedal or a cable getting stuck under your pedal, so you can sort that out and tie that out. So there we go, that's that fitted. It will press down now onto the conical mod. I'm just hoping I've done it right, but we'll see what happens with it. So we'll get into a game and we'll just give it a few test laps around. So guys, that's the load cell installed on the pedals and we're ready to go. So full disclosure, I've had this brake mod for a couple of weeks now. It's taken me a little bit of time to get the video done and whatnot, but I've been toying with how to properly tell you guys about this and how to properly put it into a video. So obviously I've shown you what it is and it installed, but then it's a really strange thing to explain to someone what it is, because once you install it you get next to no movement on that pedal. You've probably seen me on the setup video pushing it, and there's, unless that's me putting like pretty much full body weight on it, it hardly moves. And it was a little bit jarring to start off with, but now I've got used to it. It's amazing. And what the load cell does over anything else is it makes you a lot more consistent when you're braking. So before you had this rubber grommet and you had to tweak it in the game and you had to get it all set up correctly, and it varied, and depending on how much that rubber stopper moved, it would then vary on how much you press that and different things, whereas this is a lot more consistent because you've hardly got any movement on the pedal as such. It does move it a little bit, but not as much as it does prior to putting the load cell on. It then makes you more consistent because you can use muscle memory to say, if I press it this much in this game, it's going to move. There's a couple little extra things that you do need to do in certain games. Some games pick it up fine and you'll press the brake and it will know that you're at 100% and it just knows. Some other games, so I had to do this on F1 2019, is I had to just adjust the saturation. So on some games you'll have to go into the settings and you'll press the pedal and you'll see that for love nor money you can't get it to get up to 100% pressure. So you adjust the saturation until you're happy with where it's at, then you can tweak it in game and different things. And I have been snatching the brake a little bit on F1 2019, but I have also dropped a second off my time. So I put in quite a few different times in on various tracks and whatnot. And I was going to put loads of graphics on the screen and whatnot, but you've just got a bit of racing in the background, just because I thought it'd be a bit easier and if I just explain it to you. So in the background you've got a little bit of F1 2019, me in the McLaren F1, I can't remember which one it is now. It's one of the earlier ones anyway. I think it's like from the late 90s. And that's just in one of the time attack events that's on the game. And then you'll see a little bit of, believe it or not, Assetto Competizione, because why not? I've picked it up. Well, actually I was gifted it by a subscriber, a friend, Neil, who gifted me the game. So you know, it'd be fitting just to do that. I've done a few races with him as well on that, and hopefully we'll do a few more. But what I have noticed is I'm a lot more consistent. Once you've tweaked it, you press the pedal and you know how much. So when I'm playing F1 2019, I think I need to adjust it a little bit, and I'm still getting used to the pedal. But when I start to snatch the brake, I just move my foot the tiniest bit and it doesn't snatch, and I'm still slowing down. And the pedal is really good. To be fair, there's no well, I say no negatives. There's only one negative, which is more of a personal issue. So because I use the play seat challenge seat and how I have it set up, the cable that goes from the load cell into my pedals is just a fraction too short. I just have to be a little bit careful what I'm doing so I don't snag it and pull it out. That is literally my only complaint about this. It was a piece of piss to install, and that's the easiest and best way I can say it. It was so easy. There's a video on Sim Racing's YouTube channel which I kept looking at to have a look at. The only thing is which you saw in the video, is that I set it up for the GT style pedals, where I've got it set up for I've got my pedals in the GT style, whereas the video is done in the F1 style or a go-kart style. So all I had to do was just spin the bracket around. Hey ho, that's nothing, but it's so easy to fit. It's a lot cheaper. If you just got the normal T3PA pedals, so not the pro ones, it's $89.99, and you get all the bells and whistles with it. What you saw in that video is exactly what you get. And if you've got the T3PA Pro pedals, it's an extra tenner. I think it's because it's just slightly different things that you put in there and whatnot, and obviously configuring it for those pedals. They do other couple of bits on the website as well. So this is on simracingsolutions.co.uk. There'll be a description in there'll be a link in the description below. You can also get a short shifter if you've got a THA gearbox thingy, the shifter. I don't know what else to say. And there's also a standalone brake cell, and then he also does repair cables and an extra stopper if yours wears out on the pedal. And I know he's got a lot of things in the works. He's a little bit like a lot of YouTubers out there and whatnot, and a lot of people that do this for a hobby, but it's not their main job. So he's got a lot of other things in, but he's also hooked us up with a discount code. So if you do fancy picking up the load cell, if you go to Sim Racing Solutions and if you put the load cell into the basket, and then if you type in Cornwall 5, you will get a discount off your purchase, which is great. It's a way of saying thank you to the guys that are making it. It's a lot cheaper. There are some, I think it's Richmond or someone like that also does a load cell, which is about £100 more expensive than this one, and I've got no fault with this one. It's granted it's the only one I've used, but it was simple to fit, it works well, and I'm already knocking off time off my lap times, and that's about it, guys. I'm happy to take as many questions and things in the comments and whatnot. I just thought I would do a little video for it, setting it up and the feel for it, because it is a lot different, but once you get used to it, it's so much better. Once you've done a few tweaks and whatnot, it's just so nice to drive with it. And I know now when I'm in the F1 game, I'll just tap it a few times just to remind myself where, you know, what it's like and different things. But then I'm braking at the 50 meter board or something like that, or somewhere between the 150, and I'm getting it. And once I've tweaked the car a little bit, I'm not snatching the brake, and I can brake so much later. And it's nothing that's like groundbreaking. It just makes it smoother and more consistent, as opposed to not. And I know there are other things that make your racing better, like a different rig and whatnot, but this is one of those things that I found it is fairly cheap, and it works really well. And from what I can see, for the price, it's a no-brainer. Why would you spend £200 on one when you can get one for 100? They're based in the UK. It does do international shipping, but obviously if you're in the UK, it literally came within a couple of days, so happy days. And there's no, the thing to stress as well, which I was very worried about, is when I looked at the other mods, you have to be cutting wires and almost soldering things together, or crimping it and slotting it into other things, and there's nothing like that with this one. It's all self-contained. It's done a fantastic job in building it, so you don't have to do any of that. So if I wanted to take it off or solve my pedals, but I wanted to keep the load cell or whatever, I can just unscrew it, take it off, plug the cables back in, and we're going. There's nothing else I need to do. I just take it out and you're good to go. So anyway, don't forget, Sim Racing Solutions, say hi to Neil, and he will hook you up with the pedal. Put Cornwall 5 in there. I think the code is only valid until the end of August, but depending on how many sales and things we get through it, I'll have a chat with him and see if he can extend that. But put a comment below, let me know if you pick one up, if you're interested in picking one up, and if you've got any questions, and I will leave this video where it is, because it's already pretty long, but I just wanted to get as much information out there. So until next time, guys, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that bell notification to be notified for future videos, and I'll see you on the next video.